Hi, it's Gail with Traders Help Desk, and in this video I'm going to go over how to import the indicators into NinjaTrader 8, how to create a market analyzer using our template, and also how to create a chart and apply a template. So this is the new NinjaTrader 8 Control Center. To import the indicators, you click on Tools, Import, NinjaScript Add-on, browse to the location where you have the file, and then simply click Open. And of course, it will import your indicators. Once you do that, you will need to save the templates into the proper directory. When I send you the tools, I send you several templates, and I identify each one as either being a chart template or a market analyzer template. The directories that you need to save them to, if it is a chart template, you need to save it to NinjaTrader 8 /templates/chart. If it is a market analyzer, and again, I identify this when I send you the indicators, you would save it to NinjaTrader 8 Templates Market Analyzer. Once you have saved the templates, if you click New Chart, select the market, select the minute time frame that you want. In this case, I'm going to create a 15-minute. And here where it says load template only, you can actually select the template there, but I want to show you the default chart right now in NinjaTrader. So I just went ahead and set it up as a default chart. Now I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Save Templates, Load. I'm going to select the THD favorite because this is a 15-minute chart, and I'm going to select Load. As you can see, I have the trend inserted. I have the trend SR inserted. I also have the directional volume indicator, the stochastics, and the ADX. And this will automatically do this for this chart. Now, one thing I want to show you is that this chart is set to use the trading hours of 4x. Okay, that's going to make a difference if you're trading, for example, futures. You may have to change your trading hours. Just want to point that out real quick. Now, I'm going to create a market analyzer. And to do that, I'm going to go to New, Market Analyzer. I'm going to right click, Add Instrument, and I'm going to just add a couple of instruments here. Now I'm going to right click, select Templates, Load, and I'm going to select the Traders Help Desk, which is a 15-minute market analyzer. Now, as you can see, everything has loaded. The one thing I want to point out is under the ticks to ATR. Now, Forex has that last digit, and this last digit here is not a full pip. Okay, so what you want to pay attention to is these two. Or for example, this is the yen pair. I know that the yen pair only uses 2 digits. So anything that's after that, I just ignore. Okay. Now, why does that make a difference for me to point that out? Because when you do the price to ATR or price to congestion, you have to set how many ticks to the ATR or how many ticks to the congestion dot that you want price to be. Now, you do that by right-clicking, left-clicking on columns, and here where it says trend, I've set this to 50. Now, I don't mean 50 ticks, I mean 5 ticks, but I had to allocate for that extra digit by adding the 0. I need to change that ticks to congestion, ticks to ATR on the trend, the ticks to ATR, price to ATR, and price to congestion. So for example, if I wanted it to be 1 tick, I would change that to 10, change this one to 10, and I would go down on each individual one and change it to 10. So that's a total of 4 column changes that I will need to do to make it within 1 tick of the ATR or 1 tick to the congestion dot. And then I click OK. Now the best thing to do is when you have modified that is to save this as a new template. Again, right click, go to templates, save as, and give this a new template name. For example, within 1 tick of ATR. Now you can also change the name of this from Market Analyzer to, for example, 15-minute, because that's what it is. So this would be a 15-minute Market Analyzer. And as you can see, it now pops up with 15-minute Market Analyzer. So this helps you identify, okay, this is for the 15-minute. If I had a 60-minute, I would have another 60-minute Market Analyzer. Additionally, if you want to link the chart in the Market Analyzer, there's a instrument link option here on the right-hand side of the screen. If you click that, you can select a color. In this case, I'm selecting red. And then I'm going to go here to the instrument link, not the first one, that's the interval. I want the second box, and I'm going to put that in red as well. So now if I click on the euro again, for example, you can see that the chart changes. One additional note on the Market Analyzer. Remember, on the chart we can actually select the trading hours. In this case, I've selected 4x. The Market Analyzer does not allow you to select the trading hours. Instead, it uses the default trading hours. If you need to change that, for example, on futures, if you go to Tools, go to Instrument, and let's just select gold. Okay, if we click on that and we do edit, you can see that the trading hours is selected at NYMEX Metals Energy ETH, which I think stands for electronic trading hours. Okay, now the issue is if you have your chart set to 1 and you have a Market Analyzer open, they're going to give you different values. So I'm going to come down here and show you. This is the NYMEX Metals Energy ETH, I'm sorry. The start time is 6 o'clock p.m. The end time is 5 o'clock p.m. This is based on Eastern time, okay? So you want to make sure that it is matching what's coming up in the Market Analyzer. Okay, so in this case, I have my chart set to 4x. So if I go and click on 4x, you see that the end time and the start time are not the same. So you will get different values because the price bars are building at different times, start time and end time. So you want to make sure that either you use the default or you change the default. For example, if I go to Tools, Instruments, and I go back to GC, I can actually edit this by clicking Edit, and I can say, okay, I don't want you to use the NYMEX metals. I want to use, just for example, the CMEFX Futures ETH. Okay, so now if I pulled up a chart on default, it would use the CME FX futures trading hours, and the market analyzer would match because I have set the default to do that. Now this is an example of mismatch trading hours, okay? And this is kind of an extreme example, which is why I wanted to show it to you. In this case, the chart is using the US equities ETH, okay? And the market analyzer is using the default for the euro dollar and the euro yen, which is Forex. Do you see how the trend over here is red? Over here it's blue. The ticks to the ATR, totally different because this is using one specific trading hour template, and the default is set to something else, which is what the market analyzer uses. So you have to make sure that these two are matching, okay? Now let's go over a few of the changes. Number one, we now have the stochastics in NinjaTrader 8. The magenta peaks are always magenta. If you remember in NinjaTrader 7, the first would be magenta, the second would be yellow. As you can see, they're now all magenta in color if it is a magenta peak. Additionally, you can see that the volume indicator now colors the delta according to whether it closed below the zero line or above the zero line. I do suggest that you use that on the live edge of the market. This is all historical, which means, looking back, it may be different from what it was on the live edge of the market. As it was building, that's when you get the truer picture, just because you are building the data and seeing it live. So I hope that answers all of your questions. All of your inputs are basically the same, other than the changes in the ADX. In the volume indicator, the indicators work the same. You'll just see a huge improvement in how fast the charts load. I will be releasing this probably within the next 2 weeks. And if you currently have the indicators, you will need to send me an email in order to get the updated version. The stochastics indicator will not be included unless you are an annual member or you decide to purchase it.